I will try this for the third time for this one. So let me try resharing this again. And again, I'm not sure exactly where it cut us off, but I think we were getting ready to clean this up. So we substitute our cosine of 135 degrees, our sine of 135 degrees. Hold on, guys, one more person coming in. There we go. And we were getting ready to go ahead and, sorry, let me move this box. Go ahead and clean this up. So if you think about just distributing your 3, then that will put you in standard form. So it feels a little strange to write this as negative 3 squared root of 2 over 2. And then to think about, getting ready to write it as a vector there, plus I times 3 squared root of 2 over 2. But this is a plus bi form. Now, in this particular case, if you just tell me the radius and the angle feels a little bit easier to deal with than the a plus bi form. So this one is similar to actually number 13, the one after. I notice one variation that you see in your homework is maybe something like this. So 5 times cosine of pi over 3 plus I sine of pi over 3. So if we think about this one, then the only difference is we now have to look at pi over 3, read off our cosine sine, and then when we distribute our radius, we're not distributing a whole number, but that's okay, right? We're likely going to have some messy radicals here anyway. All right, so let's go ahead, and I think it closed down, my internet died, so I'm not sure what happened there. It closed down everything in terms of our list of topics. Let's see. So let me talk just a little bit more about the unit circle. And that was all the points that I had written down that we were necessarily going to go back to. But let's talk about unit circle standard or rectangular form versus parametric versus polar. So I think let's start with polar. R equals 1 is our polar form. That one is probably the most familiar. Then in parametric form, the x's are defined by your cosine values, your y's are defined by your sine values, and as long as your angle varies between 0 and 2 pi, we create our unit circle. Then for our standard form, x squared plus y squared equals 1. Keep in mind on both your parametric and your polar equation, there's some stuff in those Desmos activities that you're not necessarily going to see on the test. For example, in polar form, I might expect you to be able to sketch or select the equation or the graph for the equation r equals 4, or equation 1, or equation 2, theta equals pi over 3, which would be your pi over 3 angle line on your polar graph. But what I wouldn't expect you to do is kind of those more complicated graphs where they look like flower petals. Definitely none of those. Then also for your parametric, you can use Desmos, and I will put in there, like at the beginning, a quick link to a Desmos page you can use with that parametric coding. So I know it says no Desmos on there, but I will link you guys to a specific one that you can use. So if you want to kind of get the Desmos code that we use and practice it, that'll be okay to use in the test. So I'm going to open up to you guys. I know I've had so many technology issues, but go ahead and drop me a comment if there's any other questions you would like to take a look at. I'm going to pull Blackboard back up here. All right, so what I will do is go ahead and give us another minute or two in case anyone's thinking about questions, but go ahead and recap our information at the beginning and then let you guys sign off or stick around if you have some other individual questions. So things that you should be working on. You have all 4 of your Desmos activities that need reflections. If you still need to write those, I'm trying to catch up a little bit in terms of putting comments on those, but I will try to get back to you with comments. And then also, WebAssign, it looks like there's been slower progress in the WebAssign versus the Desmos, so don't forget about those. And then I will open up your Desmos later, or excuse me, your WebAssign test 3 later today. So where you will see that, I'm gonna go ahead and just go into Blackboard and share my screen again. And where it will appear, sorry, we are the second class down here. You guys have the 10.6, these are just out of order by default WebAssign, 10.6, 10.7, 6.3, and 6.6. Your unit test will just appear in the list. We'll go to the same place that you would go here. And then right now, you guys can continue to ignore section 5.1. That'll be the start of unit 4. When we resume unit 4, we'll kind of pick back up there. So let me take us back to this part really quickly. I want to make sure that anyone who's watching it later gets to go back and take a look at this key. One of the things to notice on this key is that there were 2 trig forms that did not have an A plus BI form. So I think these ones with the 5 pi over 3, the 11 pi over 6, knowing those trig values, the cosine and the sine, a little trickier. We have to maybe think a little bit harder for those ones or get out our unit circle. So those would definitely be reasonable ones for the test. Ones that I thought were also a little bit tricky, the one with the -2 in front, distribute that first. And then think about scaling those and trying to graph that guy before you go to your trig. So before I leave this activity behind and finish, are there any cards or any tiles that we want to take a look at here with solving? All right, guys, so then I will go ahead and end this for now. Since I do not see any questions, thank you guys for participating. Hopefully, if you have any WebAssign questions, feel free to use the Ask My Instructor. I'll be checking those. And then if something happens during your test, for example, like an internet outage, like just happened to me, don't be afraid to reach out, let me know. Hopefully technical issues will go quickly. I will set the test to give you a grade as soon as I go in there and review those grades, but it may not let you review and actually see the test questions again until after everyone's taken it. So after everyone has completed the test, I'll go in and talk about frequently missed problems, then you'll be able to pull yours up and review it. So if you have any problems accessing it, let me know. Otherwise, remember, I will not see you guys on Wednesday for a live session, but feel free to drop into Zoom office hours or request an individual meeting if you have questions. All right, guys, so any last questions before I end us? All right, thanks for being here and keep up the good work.